There is one bit of truth that is often omitted when preachers preach in those churches. They talk about the Bible, they talk about Christ, talk about this death, burial, and resurrection. They give you the basic stuff. But when it comes down to the obvious revelations about what Christ revealed about the world, those Babylon churches remain silent. Why? Because those Babylon churches are part of, already said it in description, Babylon. That's why they're Babylon churches. They pretend to be for Christ, but they're really there to support the Babylonian system. And I've explained before, the Babylonian system depends on the consent of believers to continue. Why? Because what keeps the world going is blood sacrifice. But due to the influence of the gospel, blood sacrifice is not that effective anymore. So to make blood sacrifice effective still, believers who have the revelation of Christ need to condone it. We have to consent to the blood sacrifices either through ignorance or through um, delusional reasonings so that the world can be at ease. Because the world cannot function without scapegoats. The world craves victims to violate. Without victims to violate, worldlings literally lose their minds and they explode on one another. Literally. And that will be very ugly to witness. Any society that lacked scapegoats turned on itself. That's why you have military war. Military war is nothing but organized blood sacrifice in which parts of countries are demolished and rebuilt. It's a pagan ritual. That's what it is. So all wars are hoaxes. I've already explained all of this. Now, I want to remind you of one thing. This should be obvious already. All societies are pagan, and all societies are built on blood sacrifice. That implies that all societies are narcissistic. All of them. There is no such thing as a society that's not narcissistic, and there is no such thing as society without blood sacrifice. All societies are based and fueled by blood sacrifice. All societies are narcissistic. In all societies, there is the following expectation. You either allow us to control and violate you, or else we will kill you. That is the rule in every society. You are only allowed to exist if the group can initiate you in the relief seeking. And to be initiated in the relief seeking, you have to participate in the collective trauma. And you have to allow the group to violate and traumatize you. That's why in the world you will have those um, activists or social justice warriors are called today. They are so violent against abuse and mistreatment except by their own group. This it's not something against social justice warriors or anything like that. Just want you to understand this. Human beings are very good at hiding things emotionally. That's a trait that we have. And because we're so good in hiding things emotionally, we often are scammed by this thing that we call society. That is why it's very easy to see evil in others but not in ourselves. That's why it's very easy to see the bad in all other groups except in our own. Why? Because when you've been initiated by society, or you can just say the world, you become partially blind. Not literally, but mentally, or you've become partially blind. You are able to see things, but you aren't able to discern things properly. Why? Because to be part of the world, you need to hand over your discernment. That means you have to stop paying attention to your intuition. That's what every society expects of you. Every society expects you to listening to your intuition. Instead of your intuition, you listen to the collective hive mind. That is the collective thinking that's directed by the leaders of that group. That's what every society demands of its members. You're not allowed to think for yourself. You're not allowed to discern things. You're not allowed to question things. You are nothing. Society is everything. And to make this burden bearable, you have all types of delicacies and comforts that are promised to you if you just comply. Where it's the American dream in the United States, or where it's that you're promised to have a basic standard life like a wife or a husband and kids and a job and friends to hang around, or you have a pub where you go to relieve yourself, or you go to the red light district, or you're into religions, you have religious debates going on between pagan churches. Whatever the comfort and ease is that society offers you, the only reason it offers you those delicacies is to keep you trapped. That is what it comes down to. So society never offers you something because society likes you or society cares about you. No. Society will only offer you something, even if it's something good, because society can give you good things, but the only reason society will give you anything, especially if it's a good thing, is so they can use that action against you later on. Society will only do good to you so they can use the good they've done to you to blackmail you into tolerating their evil. So society may give you $1 today because you're hungry so you can purchase some bread, and tomorrow, when you don't need any bread, now they expect you to cover up a body of some blood sacrifice. Now you may think, hold on a minute, yes, you helped me to eat that day, I'm happy for that, but come on, this is murder. You can't expect me to condone this. But that's how society is. It will do one good thing to you just to hide all the other bad stuff they're doing, and you are expected to get along with all the other bad stuff they're doing because of the one good thing you receive from them. Look, I'm not a pessimist, okay? I'm not cynical. I'm telling you as it is, believers. Christ told you how this world really is. How they treated Christ should be enough for you to understand this. This world, that means every society, is narcissistic. You either allow them, that is the group, to violate you and benefit of you, often at your expense, or they end your life immediately. Now, due to the influence of the gospel, they can't just end your life immediately, but they will come with policies and hidden structures to make life hard on you when you don't allow them to have their way with you. And there's another thing you need to understand about society. All societies are based on sexual shame. That's why in all societies you will have sexual repression as well as sanctioned sexual violence. Now you have profane sexual violence, that's just people that go out there and rape people or they molest children because they want power and all of that. That's profane sexual violence, and such violence is prohibited by laws and they're punished. But then you have sacred sexual violence. That's the sexual violence that's hidden and the sexual violence that society puts up with. Because that sexual violence is an inevitable result of the sexual shame you've been initiated in. All societies initiate you in sexual shame. And because you are initiated in sexual shame, sexual defectiveness is the result, and part of sexual defectiveness is sexual violence. So they cannot eradicate sexual violence completely. They can only punish the profane sexual violations that are not the direct result of, how do I say, let me say it like this. They cannot eradicate sexual violence completely, but they can only punish the ones that are way out of line. And that's what the world is doing. So all those marches against violence against women, I'm telling you, the world doesn't care about the safety of women, nor does it care about the safety of men. It cares about the system perpetuating itself in the next generations. The most obvious out of line violations, they need to do something about it, or else it will become too obvious how the world really is. Just realize that all societies have sanctioned or sacred sexual violence that they believe in. All of them. Not just the weird cults out there that do orgies. All societies have it. So, that's why Christ said, you cannot be friends with the world and a friend of God. You can't serve two masters. Now, we are in the world as believers, but we're not of it. And this is the trap Satan has been using on unbelievers in the Western world. By pretending to be Christian, Satan has deceived many believers. Yes, Satan pretends to be Christian. That's why his system pretends to be the leader of Christianity. That is the Vatican. By pretending to be Christian, they let you think that you are safe while you are not. By pretending to be Christian, by pretending to be on Christ's side, that includes on your side, you get along with what Satan is doing. And when you get along with what Satan is doing, things will be made easy for you in daily life. So then you have many believers that think that just because things are unfolding easily for them, that they're on the right path. Now, as a believer, things should go easy with you eventually because you overcome violence against you. That's why Christ said that with you have overcome the world. So a believer should not be under attack and going through difficulty and affliction 24/7. No, believers should have victory. Because if you're going through affliction 24/7 without any resolutions ever, that's a curse. Believers should overcome and be at ease eventually. Just realize that the only way a believer can be at ease in this world is when they walk by faith and they overcome violence daily. Yes, daily. A believer that's not walking by faith and who is so at ease with society and it's just unfold for them is a believer that's compromised and trapped. But that believer thinks he or she is on the right path because Satan has deceived them. So yes, expect tribulation as a believer, but also expect to overcome. It's by you overcoming that Heavenly Father is magnified. So, keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.